I'm Melissa, and I'm about to tell you a story that's been a long time in the making. It's a story of betrayal, gratitude, and the kind of justice that takes years to unfold. I'm standing on a stage in front of 300 people, and there they are, my mother, my father, and my brother, Travis. They're uninvited, smiling like they belong here, like they've been a part of this journey. But I know the truth. They're here for the money, for the spotlight, for whatever they can get. I take a deep breath and start to speak. I tell the crowd about the day my husband, Ryan, died. He was 30 and I was 28. We had twin toddlers, Lily and Ethan, and our world fell apart. I had a lease ending in a few weeks, hardly any money in the bank, and no life insurance. I was desperate, so I turned to my parents for help. My parents lived in a big house in the suburbs. They were well off, but they were also cold and calculating. My mother, Sarah, opened the door in her designer suit and looked at me like I was a nuisance. My father, David, stood behind her, looking down at his shoes. Travis cracked his bedroom door, saw it was me, and shut it again. I asked for a place to stay, just for a few weeks, until I could get back on my feet. But my mother folded her arms and told me that I was an adult and that I needed to take responsibility for my own life. She said that they couldn't be my safety net. I felt like my heart was breaking. I couldn't believe that my own mother would turn me away when I needed her the most. I left their house that night, feeling defeated and alone. I drove to a gas station and called Ryan's parents, Mark and Linda. They lived on a small horse ranch in the country, and they'd always been kind to me. I told them that I was in trouble, and they told me to come right away. When I got to the ranch, Mark and Linda welcomed me with open arms. They gave me a room to stay in, and they took care of Lily and Ethan like they were their own. They didn't ask for anything in return, they just wanted to help. I knew that I had to do something to get back on my feet. I had a degree in equine science, so I started working at the ranch. I took care of the horses, cleaned the stalls, and helped with the breeding. I worked long hours, but I didn't mind. I was grateful for the opportunity to have a place to stay and a job to do. One day, Mark showed me a mare named Daisy. She was a beautiful horse, but she had a crooked leg. Mark said that she was going to be sold at auction, but I saw something in her. I saw the potential for her to be a great racehorse. I asked Mark if I could have her, and he said yes. I spent the next few months working with Daisy. I trained her, conditioned her, and helped her to overcome her disability. It wasn't easy, but I was determined. And in the end, it paid off. Daisy became a champion racehorse, and she brought in a lot of money for the ranch. Word spread about Daisy, and soon I was getting offers from investors. One of them was a woman named Victoria. She was a successful businesswoman, and she saw the potential in my breeding program. She offered to invest in it, and I agreed. With Victoria's help, I was able to expand the ranch and start breeding more horses. We had some setbacks along the way, but we never gave up. And eventually, our hard work paid off. Our horses started winning races, and our breeding program became one of the most successful in the country. But then, something strange happened. My mother started calling me. She was suddenly interested in my life, in the ranch, in Lily and Ethan. She wanted to come and visit to see how I was doing. I was suspicious, but I didn't want to be rude. I told her that she was welcome to come, but I didn't really mean it. A few weeks later, Travis called me. He said that he was in trouble with his business, and he needed my help. He asked me for a loan, and I told him no. I reminded him of the way he'd treated me when I was in trouble, and I told him that I wasn't going to help him. A few days later, I received an email from Travis. It was a mistake. He'd meant to send it to my mother, but he'd sent it to me instead. And in that email, I read the truth. My mother, my father, and my brother had been talking about me behind my back. They'd been saying that I was a bad investment, that I'd made my own choices, and that they didn't want to be involved with me. I was devastated. I couldn't believe that my own family would treat me like this. I'd worked so hard to build a life for myself, and they'd just been waiting for me to fail. But I didn't let their words get to me. I decided that I was going to keep building my business, and I was going to make sure that they never had the chance to hurt me again. I hired a lawyer, and I made sure that all of my contracts were airtight. I also set up a trust for Lily and Ethan so that they would be taken care of no matter what happened. And then the offer came. A large company wanted to buy my ranch and my breeding program for $100 million. It was a lot of money, but I knew that it was the right thing to do. I'd worked hard for this, and I wanted to be able to provide for my family. I signed the contract, and the deal was done. I was a millionaire, but I didn't feel like one. I felt like I'd finally found the family that I'd always wanted. Mark and Linda, Victoria, and the rest of the people who'd supported me along the way. They were the ones who'd shown me what real love and loyalty were. And now, here I am, standing on the stage, looking out at the crowd. I see Mark and Linda, Victoria, and all of the other people who've been a part of my journey. I see Lily and Ethan, sitting in the front row, looking up at me with pride. And I see my mother, my father, and my brother, standing in the back, looking angry and confused. I take a deep breath and start to speak. I tell the crowd about the journey that I've been on, about the people who've helped me along the way, and about the lessons that I've learned. I tell them that family isn't about blood, it's about the people who show up for you when you need them the most. And then I look at my mother, my father, and my brother. I look them in the eye and I say, family isn't who shares your blood, it's who showed up. The crowd erupts in applause, and I see the look of shock on my family's faces. They thought that they could come here and take what was mine, but they were wrong. I've built something for myself, and I'm not going to let them take it away. After the ceremony, I go back to the ranch. I sit on the porch swing, looking out at the horses. Lily and Ethan come and sit beside me, and we talk about all of the things that we've accomplished. And I realize that this is what it's all about. This is what real happiness is. I know that my family will never understand me, and that's okay. I have the people who matter in my life, and that's all that matters. I've learned that love isn't about keeping score. It's about giving and receiving without expecting anything in return. And I'm grateful for every lesson that I've learned along the way. So if you're out there and you're going through a tough time, remember this. There are people who care about you, people who'll show up for you when you need them the most. Don't give up, keep fighting, and never forget who you are.